4C Land and Auction LLC, Rogers and Associates Insurance, Phillips County Convention and Visitors Bureau, Ron Juneman at Family Eye Care, Amber Wave, American Family Insurance, Farmers National Bank, Phillips County Health Systems, Phillips County Community Foundation, Phillipsburg Chamber and Main Street, Trinity Ag LLC. And now, here's Tad Feltz.
Good morning. It's a Thursday morning again, and the rain again kind of went around us. Of course, you look at the drought map for Kansas, we're kind of on the edge. We aren't as bad as southwest Kansas with the drought thing. Yeah.
We're not, but we're pretty dry.
I know. But you got to get things going on that. But these days there's a chance for rain again this weekend. Maybe we'll see what happens on that. Anyway, it's the Tadpoll. Morning, Tim Driggs, representing Phillipsburg State, will be talking about some different things next week. The semi-annual event, that's the cleanup. That a lot of trash comes out of the basements and the garages that end up out in the landfill. We'll talk about that. And the runway, I drive by every day to see the dirt work going on there, and also the State Street project. So a lot of things going on this spring and summer in Phillipsburg. Then Dan Klinger is going to come on and talk about another free movie at the Majestic this weekend. And then Cindy Walker and Cody Miller will come on. 4-H having their big fundraiser and get together this Saturday, and I would be talking about that. I also have some other things I'll bring up, a lot of music things. The Phillipsburg High School Athletic Award Banquet, 7 o'clock Sunday night in the gym here at the Chucker Gym. And other things, I'll be talking about that. But Tim, let's get going. Let's see, number one, what's happening next week?
Well, there's almost a guaranteed chance of rain next week with citywide cleanup.
Okay.
It seems to be pretty continuous that we get all the stuff out on the curb and it decides it wants to rain at least one day that week.
Okay.
Citywide cleanup will take place next week. We are going to adjust things just a little bit. The landfill has adjusted their hours for us a little bit, so we will start at 7 o'clock every day, and we will go till 4 o'clock. So we'll try to get as much stuff as we can picked up each day. Typically, we get about a half a day ahead. So if you see us go by and it's not your day, don't worry, we'll still come back the next day.
Okay. Sure.
Reminder, metal is always picked up on Fridays. So if you have some metal in your piles, please know that won't get picked up till Friday. Our customers can do us a huge bit of help if they don't pile these things on top of the water meters, or
I know
try to keep them somewhat separated. The landfill sure appreciates that when we don't bring a bunch of mixed loads to them.
And keep all yard toys up on the porch, right?
If you don't want it to disappear, you should keep it up close to the house, because it never fails. Every year somebody complains about something that disappeared from their curb that wasn't trash.
And there's something going on this week. People are going by and picking up, and I noticed that things are.
You will see some folks out treasure hunting, as they call it.
Right.
So, which is completely legal to my understanding. So there is nothing wrong with that. If you put it out on the curb, it's free game.
Sure. I like that idea. I mentioned last week, my son lives in Houston. Once a month, Houston does that.
Oh, man.
They come around and pick up. The city people can go around and pick things up once a month. You know, if the city doesn't do it, it's out there fair game for anyone who wants to do it. So people get rid of a lot of stuff that way. You know,
it's amazing every year how many piles you see, and it just seems like, well, they won't be able to have anything next year.
Yeah.
They reload, and there's just as many piles as next year.
How many tons of stuff?
We've had anywhere from about 80 to 100 tons a year, depending on the year. A lot of it depends on the weather. This year we're running a little bit late with citywide cleanup. We had some personnel that had some vacation time that they had to burn up, and it was already scheduled. So we rearranged citywide cleanup to fit where we had the maximum amount of personnel available. So we anticipate some big piles. We anticipate a lot of stuff out there this year.
Now, your regular pickup day is when they'll pick it up.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
If you get ahead, do you ever go the next day, or you try to stay?
We do. A lot of times we'll see, once we get past Monday, we'll get through Monday's route, and then we turn around and come back and start on Tuesday's route. And wherever we end that day, we start back over on Tuesday the very next day and continue forward.
Sure.
Usually by Friday, we don't have a lot left of Friday's route when we start. But like I said, we do go back and pick up metal throughout that.
What kind of metal? Anything metal? Is it just...
We pick up about anything. It seems like there's appliances, there's a little bit of everything. Now appliances, as long as they've been tagged by a professional with the freons out of them, we'll pick them up. We take them down, and then we take them to the recycling center and get rid of that. So that's just less material that goes in the landfill and something we can do differently.
What is it that has to have has to be checked for?
Any refrigerator or freezer
that has
Freon in it.
Freon in it, yeah, okay. Okay, now what don't you pick up?
Well,
tires?
We don't pick up the tires this year. Paint, any hazardous materials, things like that. There's some construction debris that we don't pick up. We have a list of everything posted on our website, and it'll also be posted on Facebook again today. Just kind of reminder everybody. We try to limit it to 1 truckload per household. Sure. Sometimes that's not always the case, but this is a service we try to help the community with every year, so we try to get everything we can.
All right. Well, it sounds like things are up and running again. I'm going to go for that there. Okay.
It'll be a busy week.
All right. Now, what about State Street? What about the...
So State Street's scheduled to start hopefully before June. So you'll start seeing some activity here in the next 30 days. With the late start, we're hopeful that we can be done before rodeo, but if not, we'll have to make some adjustments to the parade routes and things like that. But that'll be a good project for us. That's another really good project for the city, and get some of those potholes and the asphalt on top of the brick going.
You could really tell when you come down the hill there from what's there now and what was done.
Those streets were all brick at one time, and they put asphalt over top of it, and that brick and asphalt just it doesn't want to stay cohesive to each other, and it moves around, and it's a challenge to keep up with.
Okay, let's talk about the project, the runway. How's that coming?
It's coming along pretty well. They've got quite a bit of dirt work done out there. They got most of the utilities moved that needed to be moved, so now we'll start working on getting some of the storm pipe put in place and continue going. So they're doing very well right now. So Mother Nature is behaving for us, and even though we could desperately use some rain right now, but it's going well.
How much longer is the runway going to be now?
As far as length?
Length, yeah.
It'll be approximately 590 feet.
Okay.
So it does not, the runway itself does not go into Santa Fe Road. There's a small piece of the turnaround that goes out into Santa Fe Road. Everything else is south.
Okay, all right.
There's some ditch work that'll be done around there to help with some drainage. And, really it's not a huge extension for what everybody has envisioned.
Yeah. I even envisioned, I thought he was going to all clear up there. No, okay, so.
I think people will be surprised when the project's over at how less invasive this project was than what most people envisioned.
Okay, and the buildings are on the west side of what happens with those?
So there's one building over there that is eligible to remain. The other one is the house, and it is required to be removed by FAA because of its height restrictions. It's inside what they call a clear zone. We got bids on that last Friday. They will be announced at the council meeting Monday night, and the council will decide what they want to do with them. They'll get to make the determination of whether they get tore down or whether the city staff goes and tears them down, or what happens next with them.
Would the city think of tearing it down, or does that have to be?
We could, with the amount of stuff on our plate right now.
Yeah.
It is possible, but it's not something that I would really push for.
But I was a long time ago. We tore down the radio station there, tore down the old building, and they asked me if I wanted to do it. And I said, "Oh, sure. What's the tearing down the building?" It is. That was the biggest mistake I ever made. You do not tear down a building easily.
If you got a big piece of equipment, it's not so bad.
Yeah, right.
But it takes the right equipment.
I was doing it board by board. You do not do and that's a tough thing. It took me a long time, and then I had to finally hire someone to come in and tear the rest of it out.
That's quite an endeavor there.
Wow. Okay, so yesterday they had some planes out there. They had the jets, and they had a 2-engine prop.
We still have quite a bit of traffic going in and out. Most of that's through our local industries, flying people in and out. We're trying to extend that period of time that they can be in here as long as possible. We've kind of held off on that area right next to the runway until we absolutely have to benefit them. But there will be a point in time where the paved runway will be shut down for a period of time. The grass runway will remain open for our local users, and we'll always have the access to the ramp for all emergency flights and stuff like that.
I've got to ask this because I've heard so much about it. Is there ever going to be a thing going around the end of the north end?
You know, at this point in time, I don't think there's anything planned.
Okay.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
I think it would be a huge benefit to everybody involved to have an alternate road of some sort.
Sure.
But right now, it is not planned.
There's no plan. Okay, what else is going on?
Well, we got our yearly crack sealing folks are going to be showing up a week from today. They'll start, they'll be south of State Street on 5th and 6th and Morris Drive. Then they switch over and go over towards the western side of town and pick up some areas around, it'll be south of Park Street there around, what is it, Sunset and Southwest 2nd, some of those areas that hadn't been hit yet. So they'll be all over the place there. And we've got some sewer projects coming up, and we're hopefully going to have some information shortly on a housing project that is set to take some place.
Is it going to, I hear this and then I hear something else, and I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to ask you about the housing.
Well, it was announced last week that there's a group that received a base grant in Phillips County. The city will be working to assist them with the plating and the design and the zoning to get that project. So this project that's put together, it's basically for infrastructure. So that's going to be your street, your water line, your utilities and things like that. So they can have that property put together and ready for people to start buying lots and putting up homes. So there is a possibility that if things go well, that by late summer we could see some houses starting to be put together. So
what area is this? I've heard south of 36 and north of 36, west of
the property that we understand received the base grant is across the street from the Armory.
Okay, from the Armory.
Yeah, it was part of the Jansonius family and Northwest Kansas Planning.
Okay, so it's there.
We'll be working with them to get that project moving forward, and it's just another great opportunity for the folks in Phillipsburg.
Okay, so well, very good. Anything else?
It's going to be busy. There's going to be a lot of people running around next couple of weeks, citywide cleanup, and the crack sealing folks. They cover quite a bit of ground and things like that. We'll be putting the notices out for that Monday morning, and there's a lot of projects going on around the airport. A lot of it's not going to be real visible over the next year and a half. The new automated weather system goes out there. The power poles on the east side of the highway, those will all get...
they have to be moved east?
They're actually going to be buried. So that way they're no longer going to be a problem for us again. Things like that are going on. The Shade Tree Committee, as you know, put in a grant request with the Phillipsburg Community Foundation and received a grant to start a tree farm. So we've been pretty good at removing trees the last several years with all the Chinese elms and things like that. This will give us the opportunity to not only work with the kids, because a lot of the kids during the community service days will help us plant those trees and maintain them. And it'll be a great project to have a bunch of trees available to us to relocate, to put throughout the community. So I'm excited about it.
I'm on the board that got you the grant there to help with the trees. That's $5,000, I think.
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay. Oh, I'm going to ask you this. Do we have a lot of Bradford pears in Phillipsburg?
Oh, boy. I think there is some. I'm not a huge tree expert. That I leave up to Howard King. He's usually our tree guy.
Yeah.
But I know there is some in town.
Okay, well, Wichita had a big story, TV, a big story about how bad they are, Bradford pears.
Really?
They spread the wrong kind of stuff for the bee. I know it's I always thought they're pretty, when they picked the broom and everything,
They can be.
It's just, another news story, you know.
Well, I know another thing that's coming up here that a lot of people are going to start hearing some things about, and there'll be some conversation by the city council on Monday night, is the spraying for mosquitoes.
Okay.
It's been, I'm going to guess, about 6 years ago, a group brought some information to the city requesting that we do something to control the mosquito population in town and things like that. So the city council at that point hired a company to do some mosquito control. There has been some concerns by some citizens about the chemicals that are used and the effects those chemicals have. And so there has been some meetings with some of our committees and things like that. And there'll be a survey put out, I believe, next week if the council approves it, to get the community's feeling on whether that program should continue or should change, or what that might look like for this coming season.
Okay, all right. And if it'd been a lot of wetter spring, that'd be more of a problem. And then a problem too.
Last year it was pretty dry,
more.
so.
Mosquito problems. Okay, well, thank you, Tim. I appreciate you coming along.
Anytime.
And I'll be sitting out on the porch yesterday afternoon on the porch, and I heard a good sound. I could hear the jet warming up, you know, and I could hear it taking off. That's a good sound.
It is. It's a sound of progress and a sound that things are going well in Phillipsburg.
Okay, fine. Thank you. All right, Dan and Klinger is going to, Dan's here. We're going to talk about the free movie after we take this break.
In our area, ranching and farming are more than just jobs. They represent family traditions and a way of life. They are an essential part of our community. At First National Bank and Trust, community is what matters most. From agriculture to education, we support those who make our community one to be proud of and a place to call home. First National Bank and Trust, where community matters most.
We're here for you.
Farmers and Ranchers Outlet is a locally owned and operated business in Phillipsburg, Kansas. As farmers and ranchers ourselves, we continually put our products to the test. We provide a variety of products including roping supplies, horse tack, mineral blocks and feed, healthcare items for your animals, and of course, we have all the apparel you need to get the job done and look good while you're doing it. Stop by our store on Highway 183 or shop with us online at farmersranchersoutlet.com.
The experienced and professional team at Coombs Trucking takes pride in providing the most efficient and reliable service to our customers. From hauling to towing, our fleet of quality trucks and drivers continue to deliver safely and on time. Our team is also proud to support your team. We're here for our Little Leaguers, area high school teams, and more. Coombs Trucking enjoys giving back to the community that has been so important to us for over 50 years.
We all make bad choices. Your insurance carrier doesn't have to be one of them. Make a choice you won't regret. The foremost choice.
Are you wrestling with your financial situation? Let First National Bank and Trust help you take down the stress that comes with managing your money. First National Bank and Trust is here for our area athletes, here for our farmers, here for our business owners, here for our families, and
We're here for you.
Well, the Phillips County Christian Foundation has been busy this spring with free movies.
Yeah, we
Dan,
have.
And
Yeah.
you've got another, looks like a great one coming up. It's a great poster here, His Only Son. It's coming up this weekend. So
Right,
fill us
yeah,
in
it
on
is.
What it's all about.
Well,
and what's
Yeah,
gonna happen.
Tad, we've got a movie coming up this starting Friday night. It's called His Only Son. It's a story of Abraham and Isaac in the Old Testament. God sends them on a journey. And when God sends them on this journey, he doesn't tell them where they're going. He just tells them, you're going on a journey.
Wow.
What a step of faith, isn't it?
Yes, okay.
And the life lessons that they learn along the way, and the life lessons that they're going to learn once they get to where they're going. Okay. So it's a huge step of faith for them. But I think we can learn from this Old Testament story and there'll be life lessons that we can learn that we can apply to our situation as well. So that's the story of his only son.
Okay, so his only son would be Jesus, right?
No, that would be Isaac.
Oh, okay,
Abraham.
Okay,
Yes.
well, that's what I didn't, because his only son, I would think, and no.
Oh,
his
yeah,
only son is
yeah.
Jesus. That's
No,
why I got
no.
that, but it's Abraham and Isaac.
Right, Abraham
Okay,
and
all right,
Isaac.
all right.
You know, God promised Abraham and Sarah a son. And of course, it didn't happen right away. And they were up in years when, you know, I think the scriptures say that Sarah was pushing 100.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having a son at 100, you know, for your wife? And
Sure.
And but it didn't happen right away, and so that in and of itself was a faith journey.
Sure.
And so when God finally provided them with a son, and then God tells Abraham and Isaac to go on a journey, and the life lessons that they're going to learn. I don't want to say too much about the plot of the movie, but that's in essence what it's all about. So I think it'll be a great movie for our community, and I'm looking forward to bringing it to this to our local theater.
Okay, now let's talk about when and everything.
It's going to happen this Friday, tomorrow night. Yep, April 28th. Through Monday, May 1st, 7:30 nightly. And there will be additional showings on Sunday afternoon with a 2 p.m. matinee.
So 4 different showings.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
And so it's free. The Phillips County Christian Foundation is funding it, so there's no cost to the movie at all. And so you can come and bring your friends and bring your family. I think it'll be a good family show.
How was the attendance the last one you had?
Yes, we had the Jesus Revolution, and it was very good. I think total for the 2 weekends was 520, I believe 528 people that came. And I was visiting with Darlene, and Darlene said that, you know, normally when they have a movie that comes, you know, of course, people are excited to come see the movie, and so that first weekend is very well attended, but then the second weekend is not quite near as well. But this movie was different. It had good attendance the whole time it was here, so it was very good.
I talked to several people who went twice to see it.
Oh, really?
One
Okay.
weekend and went there, maybe took someone else.
Oh, yeah, and that's great.
And you can buy the popcorn. And
Right.
everything,
Yep. Yeah, you can buy your popcorn and your drinks and your candy bars or snacks.
Whatever.
You know, my wife and I, we don't fix popcorn much at home, but when I go to a movie, I like to buy some popcorn and with extra butter.
One thing we talked about, and the thing about it is popcorn, the best popcorn you get at the theater, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You fix it at home and it's all right, but it's
Yeah, that's right.
Microwave, I don't know much of the microwave popcorn fixture, you know.
Right.
I did buy a popper one, but I haven't used that in a long time.
Did you?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I love popcorn.
Yeah.
But I get it at the movies when I get there, lots of butter and everything. So what else you have planned coming up?
Well, we are having a meeting in May, and we're going to talk about some of the programs that we're going to have. We've got a couple things in the works. I don't want to say too much because we don't know if it's going to happen yet. Right. But we've got one big project in particular that we're going to talk about at our May meeting, and then we're constantly brainstorming on future projects. You know, we've done a variety of things over the years. You know, we like to do things that are geared towards youth, bringing in concerts. Right. We like to do that, and
concerts are great.
Yeah. And we've done a variety of things geared towards moms and dads and men and women. You know, we've brought in speakers that speak to women and
Sure.
and men too.
Sure.
We've done a men's breakfast for several years.
Right.
That we haven't done it. A lot of these things that we've done a lot in the past kind of took a break when COVID came around.
Sure, right.
So
yeah.
we're actually just starting to get back in the swing of things after, COVID. So,
Okay.
so,
Well.
but yeah.
All right. You want to give another plug again?
Yeah, sure. So this weekend, starting tomorrow night, Friday, April 28th through Monday, May 1st, is His Only Son. It's a story of a story of Abraham and Isaac and the epic journey God took them on. And there'll be, each showing will happen at 7:30, and there'll be a matinee showing Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Okay. So it's His Only Son this weekend.
All right, it's free, and get the family and just have a good weekend.
Yeah, that'll be great.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you, Tad.
Dan Klinger, Majestic Community Theater with His Only Son turning up tomorrow night, Sunday night, Monday night, 7:30, and then Sunday afternoon at 2. We'll be back and talk about the big 4-H event coming up this weekend after this break.
At Phillips County Health Systems, patient-centered excellence is more than a goal. It's a mission. And that's why we continue to be one of the top critical access hospitals in the country. We care for members of our community through all stages of life, providing quality health care, innovative rehabilitation therapies, and convenient access to specialists. It's the kind of care our patients should expect, the kind of care you deserve, the kind of care provided at Phillips County Health Systems.
Prairie Horizon Agri-Energy is now Amber Wave. We are transforming our existing facility in Phillipsburg to turn 20 million bushels of wheat into domestically produced wheat protein for use in the food and feed-related industries. This investment in the community will come together in the summer of 2023 and is expected to add 50 new jobs to the local community. Learn more at amberwaveusa.com. Amber Wave, vital, reliable, sustainable.
The American dream has changed over the years, but Farmers National Bank has not. This is Jean Ann Wagner. Farmers National Bank has been backing the American dream for over 100 years. Tell us what you'd like to accomplish, and we'll work with you to achieve it. As we celebrate 100 years, it's never been about us. It's always been about our customers and their successes. That's the American dream. We're Farmers National Bank in Phillipsburg, Agra, Logan, Kensington, Stockton, and Atwood, member FDIC.
Olive Bovey Furniture in Phillipsburg has so many lazy boys, they're running out of room to show their other great lines of furniture. Olive Bovey is featuring lazy boys at prices that are just too good to pass up. Lazy Boy rocker recliners, Lazy Boy sofas, Lazy Boy reclining sofas. Don't miss this opportunity. Help move the lazy boys so there's more room to show the other great furniture. Olive Bovey Furniture, West Highway 36 in Phillipsburg.
Protection is important, especially when you're talking about your dreams, which is why we're going to keep you covered with plans that can save you up to 23% when you bundle your home and auto. That's protection.
And on the Tadpoll this morning, we're going to be talking with Cody Miller. Cindy Walker is not feeling So she won't be here, but I know you'll do the good job of what's happening this weekend and other things going on.
We'll get you covered.
Okay, before we go with a couple of things I want to mention coming up, tonight at 7 o'clock at the Huck Boyd is the 5th and 6th grade vocal and band concert. A lot of sports today and tomorrow also. Motion the Dance Company is based out of Stockton. They're having the recital tomorrow night at Huck Boyd. A few dancers from Phillipsburg in their competitive dance team. They competed in regionals in Kansas City 2 weeks ago. Will compete at nationals in Minneapolis, Minnesota this summer. Wow. Recital will showcase a competition team, and also the regular dance class students that are of all ages. Starts at 6:30 tomorrow night. Huck Boyd tickets $5. Kids 10 and under are free. Then coming up Sunday night is the annual event, the 7 o'clock at the Chuck Ritter Gym, the Phillipsburg High School Athletic Awards Banquet. That's always a big event there. Then Monday at 7 is the 7th and 8th grade vocal band and a vocal and band concert. That'll be followed by the Athletic Awards presentation there. So all in all, it's a busy weekend, and of course we're going to talk about something else going on. Okay.
That's right. How do we fit it all in, Tad?
I don't know. I don't know. So what's happening this Saturday night?
Yeah, so we're going to have this Saturday evening is our annual 4-H carnival and also our Phillips County Fair pancake, sausage, and kraut supper. So if you haven't gotten enough pancakes,
been a few of those around.
there have. You know, I know the Catholic Church had theirs the other day. Never Flinch was this weekend, and then we're gonna end it with.
Are you gonna have the Agro people there with the
Yes, you know.
Okay.
So Tad, I think if we could have a quarter for every pancake that was cooked on that, we could retire. So
I've mentioned that several times.
Right.
You'd rather have $1 for everyone.
With today's prices, yeah, we'd need that. So,
Okay, so
so
what's
yeah,
gonna be-
so this Saturday, we usually do this the first Saturday of April in conjunction with our Phillips County Livestock Judging Contest, kind of have it as a 4-H day, if you will. This year, prom was on that evening for Phillipsburg, Logan. As we just mentioned, everything that's going on, it's just like we can't hardly fit everything in anymore. So we went ahead and we moved it to this weekend, and I think it'll work out great. But like I say, it'll be our annual 4-H carnival, pancake, sausage feed. So the times for that, and of course it's all going to be out at the fair building. The pancake feed's going to run from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Special thanks, the sausage this year was donated by Justin and Kelly Taylor. Justin is our current Fair Board president. Family's been very, very active. We're very blessed to have them in our community and in all the things that they do for us. And then the games are going to run from 5:30 to 7:30. Very affordable evening. Come out, feed the family, and then the games 25 cents per ticket. So you know, if you got a family of 3 like we do, $10 will go a little ways. So we can do that, and it's in a safe environment. You know, there's games for all ages. I've got a list of the. You bet. So I've got
adults play them too, or
absolutely.
Just for kids?
So we had it's funny. We kind of had a little write up here. So yeah, and I think it's funny. They're Hustlers used to always have the cakewalk, and I think Mrs. M, she enjoyed doing the cakewalk as much as the kids did, Tad.
Yeah,
so
I did it. I did the cakewalk. I won a couple of times.
You bet. So the games that we have, the different 4-H clubs, Egger Trailblazers, they're going to have the soda ring toss, and also ladder ball or hillbilly golf is what some of those call that. Deer Creek's going to have the balloon dart or the tattoo/face painting. Iowa Union going to have shuffleboard, and then they're also going to have a fishing station. And I got to throw this in: the fishing station, they've had that for years, and you know, there's a record out there to be broken. John Hobson, he landed the largest fish of all times in that fishing game, and that record goes back to the early 2000s when he was a 4-H'er. So come out and try to break that record that John Hobson, our local horse leader, had as a youngster. So Lone Prairie, they've got a basketball shot and then also a shuffleboard, and then and Lone Prairie, they've had that basketball shop for many years. It's always a fun event, and they've got good prizes in there. They got quite an array of those. Sunnyside, they're going to have Wheel of Fortune and then the goblet toss. So there's an array of different games, very affordable, fun games that all of them can have. Like I said, that's this Saturday evening, April 29th, and pancake feed, sausage, kraut, 5 to 7 o'clock. And then the games they're going to run, like I say there, kickoff 5:30 to 7:30.
Okay, wow.
All north up at the wonderful facility at the Phillips County Fair building.
What else?
So,
There's other stuff
yeah,
there.
so a lot of people always ask, well, why do you have to have these fundraisers? What is the money used for? So the money from the pancake, the sausage feed, etc., that goes to the fair board, and that helps with the expense of running the Phillips County Fair, etc. Which, holy cow, here we talk about all these events, and school's just getting out, and before we know it, school's going to be starting again. We haven't even got out, Tad. So if Mr. Gower's listening, if we could back that start date up, that would be great.
Graduation next week. No, week after next.
That's
December,
right.
Wow.
That's right. It's crazy, but
Wow.
The 2023 Phillips County Fair. The official dates for that are going to be Friday, July 28th through July 31st, and we'll have the fashion review. That'll be the Tuesday leading up to that, July 18th.
Wow.
There at the Huck Boyd, and then the horse show be the Saturday before, Saturday, July 22nd, over at the rodeo grounds.
Sure.
And this horse show, we've moved it up, we've moved it back, we've had it in conjunction with the fair, we've had it the day before the fair, and it just seems to work best on that Saturday before. We've had it the day before, and then the poor kids, they're in the heat showing their horses, and then a lot of them have food events. So boy, them kids are worn out before we even start.
I like that the week before.
It works good. It works good.
It makes it special too, because it's kind of
right. But so that's that, and then fair will be here, and we got a lot of fun activities planned for these kids all summer long.
And I think every year we go out and do our tadpole that week. I think. I don't know.
Yeah,
think we're going to talk about it again.
Yep.
Okay.
If as long as Kim's not chasing kids doing sporting events, they're on the rowing team or track team or whatnot.
No, that's great.
We'll make sure we get them.
How'd they do this in Omaha? They won. Did they? Okay. Wow, that's a K-State rowing team, right? That's a Title IX. That's why they have rowing. Is that right? Is it a title?
That's part of it, right?
Part of the Title IX. You used to have equestrians. My granddaughters with the K-State, they both went as equestrian team and got. But then they don't have the equestrian horses anymore. I don't know what happened.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Tad. One of them or both of them started at Colby on the equestrian team, and then they went up to K-State.
The one went to Nationals and Kentucky 2 years, and she did well. Got 6th 1 year.
You bet. The gal that has been a instrumental part at Colby Community College on the equestrian, Shanda Maddox. Shanda Draper was her maiden name, but she was at K-State same time I was, and it's neat. There's been several local kids here from Phillips County that have gone out and competed at that, so it's sure neat there. But
okay, I'm going to change something. I'm going to change hats.
You bet.
Last Thursday night, hospice. Great evening. I mean, over $32,000 raised. The basketball, the girls' third place basketball team autographed it $1,000. It went the first time. Roger Weinman, he put it back in, and another $500. So that was great. That basketball.
Yeah, no, it was pretty neat, and I know I kind of got choked up there before we had to sell that, but definitely.
We have a little close. You have pretty close contact with that.
You bet. Yeah. So no, it was pretty neat with that. But then just hospice in general, Tad.
It's great.
Hats off to that organization, and then all the volunteers and the community buy-in. You know, as we talked about that, hadn't last one we did was 2019, and I know the crowd was a little lighter, but it was so good to get that event up and going. And I know Rachel and I, we were just so honored to be a big part of that, and it was definitely fun for sure. So.
You do a good job. I enjoy, because you put a little humor in what's going on. That's what I think makes it interesting.
We try. Sometimes you're funny, sometimes you're not, and sometimes your wife just shakes her head, and well, that didn't go as planned.
Did you always want to be an auctioneer, though?
Ever since I was a little kid, I've always wanted to be able to get up and do that. And you know, as a first-generation auctioneer, it's definitely been fun, and here we are now, you know, with our own business.
Sure.
And
4 C's, and I figured out how that.
Right. So yeah,
Cody and the 3 boys.
That's right. Yeah, Cody, Cooper, Casey, Chisholm, and we always joke that the R is silent, but very. Very integral part of the operation.
But did you have to practice a lot to get that?
Yeah, so it's actually funny. You know, I didn't go to auctioneer school. I graduated. I did. I graduated high school from Stockton in 2003. Okay. And probably the biggest mistake I ever made. I should have went that summer, but you know, I just we're too busy. So I didn't go until after my junior year at K-State. But it was funny. My senior year at Stockton, there was actually a pastor at Stockton. We were in the back gym at a senior project event, and you know, I was doing the tongue twisters, and he came by and heard me, and he said, "Are you an auctioneer?" I said, "No, I want to be." And he said, "I got a couple tapes that I'm going to bring to you tomorrow." So he went to auction school and brought some tapes. And you know, I worked for a farmer north of Woodston, and from leaving Stockton to Woodston about every morning, every night, I think I about wore those tapes out. And then also going to junior college and K-State all those years, I wore those tapes out practicing, and finally went to auction school the spring of 2006.
Where was that?
So that was at the Missouri Auction School, and that was just this side of St. Louis. And I'd have to look back how many days that was, but you know, went there and then got hooked up with numerous auctioneers that put you to work, and it's fun. And now we can do that, and you know, we've competed at auction events, and have had a lot of fun with it. And it's probably the thing that's the most rewarding is having the 3 boys. You know, Cooper and Casey, they're old enough that you know, they know they've heard Dad enough. They know all the tongue twisters, and they can do the basic chant. And Cooper has been able to sell at a couple events, you know, and the crowd there, we do it at the end, and it's been a blast. So we enjoy it for sure. But
why do you have to put that? The tongue twisters in there.
You know,
keeps fills time.
Yeah, so the tongue twisters are basically kind of like an athlete goes through their warm up, and so those work. There's certain ones that work the lips, work the tongue, build the muscles there. So then you can have that, and then you get your chant and your rhythm and go there.
And the chants that feel. Like if you're waiting for another bid or something, it gives you something to put in there.
Yeah,
right?
they have.
You don't have the silent thing.
Right. They have the filler words, etc. But you know, the basic chant, the boys, you know, they just when we were starting out, you know, it's just $1 bid, now 2, now 2. Will you give me 2? Yeah. And it's funny. Ever since auction school, I've never really changed that. But they say in all the other auctioneers, then you get your own style. But that's the foundation. And then, but yeah, and there's different filler words that a lot of people use that are fit.
It's amazing. And I'll be honest with you, I've gone to some auctions and I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's got the bid or how much it is or anything.
Right, yeah.
But I don't have any trouble with you. I don't remember what I bid the other night, you know.
We appreciate that, and that's probably the biggest compliment that we get is clarity.
Yeah,
everybody always says that you know, we can understand you, and that's something I guess we pride ourselves on and hope it continues.
You don't remember this because you weren't around for a long time. Back in the 40s, Jack Benny had the program on. It was sponsored by Lucky Strike, I think. and they always open the show with an auctioneer grant. Have you ever heard that?
I'd have to go back, I guess.
And every, I mean, this is in the 40s, but it started. I said, "What's he talking about?" Sold American always had some. On there, he was selling tobacco.
Yeah, and those are
sold American.
Yeah, those are neat. There's I like to go through, and we didn't go through that. And those things are kind of a thing of the past. Those tobacco auctions, but there. If you ever want to just Google that or YouTube it, there's a gentleman, and he is. But you're right, that sold Americana.
And there was a real popular song one time too.
Yes,
The Auctioneer.
Right, Leroy Van Dyke. So it's definitely
and
fun.
you got baklava. It wasn't on. I looked at there's no baklava on the list here, so I went to Sandy and she. And I, So I got a write in.
Yeah, and hopefully Bob Jessup would approve of that. There, I know that every year he'd always butcher that name on purpose. So we tried to do that as well for him. So
you did a good job. I really had a good time. You have a lot of things to sell.
Right.
And some things you've. What, the coconut cream pie, $400 or something?
Yeah, those, and I think the peanut butter pies, those, they sell great. So yeah, they're definitely fun and neat. And I hope that getting the first one under a belt again with it going, and a lot of new staff at hospice, and then hopefully everybody liked we did that a little different where it was pre-lotted, so you knew what item was coming up next, and so hopefully
I like that.
Yeah, and I know it's always kind of, well, why was mine at the bottom? Well, sorry, hopefully next year we can kind of rotate some of those order around, but sure hope to continue on and carry the legacy that the Jessup family, they've been involved with that hospice for years.
I really enjoyed it. I heard you're going to be auctioneer. I thought we were going to do that, and I got the bottle before we get them.
You bet.
All right. Anything else you want to share?
I think that's it, but hopefully this Saturday, like I say, April 29th, again, 5 to 7, the pancake feed, 5:30 to 7:30 will be the games, and hopefully see you at the Fair Building north of town.
Okay, well, thank you so much, and I always look forward to
Sounds good. Let it rain, Tad.
Yeah, we talked about that. Next week is cleanup in town. They said usually it rains one day during cleanup.
Oh, that would be great.
I was telling Tim, and looking at the drought thing, Southwest Kansas is black. We're just kind of right on the edge of the map. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, we still need it.
It's so widespread, and I've been talking to insurance adjusters, and some of them I talked to that've been down in Southwest Kansas, etc. And one gentleman had 26 quarters that basically they just had to do a drive-by. They didn't even get out of the vehicle to look at it. And and some of the wheat here we've looked at looks good from the road. You get out and do a stem tiller count, and we need a rain bad. So hopefully it'll.
Could a rain now help? I mean,
it's always funny. I think we talk about this on the wheat.
Sure.
Jim Schroyer goes back, the old wheat specialist. He said, wheat has 9 lives, and it's used up 8 of those 9 lives. So it all depends, and that's a loaded question, but if we could catch some rains, and if wheat being a cool season crop, if we could catch some rains, we get some cool weather, we've seen some of that wheat tiller and fill, but boy, there's some of it that's pretty rough. So
okay, well, we appreciate you coming on, and again, I enjoyed last Thursday night. I had a good time there and everything. So we'll be back next Thursday morning with more on the Tadpoll. We'll see you then. A lot of things going on this weekend, and try to attend as many as you can.